POV, you just learned what steroid injections do to your knees.
If you're over 40 and you're not doing this, your joints could be in trouble.
My kids say I'm aging in reverse. This is my secret.
You see this blue area here? That represents your precious cartilage. And when doctors inject steroids, they tell you that it reduces inflammation and pain. And it does for about a month. So yes, you feel better for now, and then you have to go back for more painful needles. But what they don't tell you is that these injections actually accelerate the breakdown of cartilage. And recent studies from major medical centers across the country have shown that repeated steroid injections can lead to rapid joint destruction. That's because they are not addressing the real problem. But here's the good news. Every time a patient hobbles into this clinic with a bad back, bone-on-bone knee, or severe neck pain, I always give them this simple 30-second breakfast food fix that instantly starts to strengthen and smooth out that cartilage. Now, over 207,000 people are using this right now to restore the protective cartilage around their joints. Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Levitt, and if you've been told that your joint pain is just old age, if your doctor looked at your x-ray and said, yep, bone on bone, that's normal, if you've tried all the usual fixes and the pills, the turmeric, the glucosamine, the collagen, and nothing has worked, then I need you to stop what you're doing right now and pay attention, because what I am about to confess isn't just going to challenge what you've been told about joint pain. It's going to prove that your joints are not just wearing down. They are being eaten alive. And I know that that sounds scary, but it's not just fear mongering. It's something that I see inside the joints of many of my patients at an alarming rate. Let me explain. Actually, maybe it's better if I show you with a quick, shocking demonstration that you will never forget. So what I have in front of me here is a piece of gelatin. It is soft, it is springy, it's cushiony. Does it remind you of anything? It reminds me of cartilage. This is what healthy cartilage is supposed to feel like inside your joints, like the meniscus that's in your knee or the discs that are in your spine. It's that nice, soft, squishy padding in between your bones at every joint in your body that lets you bend and twist and walk and climb stairs and move without pain. Now, these crystals that I have right here represent something called MMPs, which is a type of enzyme that your body makes naturally. Now, these are not actually MMPs inside your body. Those are super tiny molecules, and we would need a microscope to see those. You're gonna watch what happens when I take this soft, nice, healthy, spongy cartilage and I sprinkle these MMP crystals right on top of it. Now, when the MMP enzymes come in contact with the cartilage, the springy, healthy cushion begins to just melt away. Now, why does this matter? Well, because that's exactly what is happening right now inside of your joints. And most people with joint problems have never even heard of this. And believe it or not, lots of the doctors and the chiropractors and the physical therapists who take care of people with joint pain, they don't know about it either. You see, these MMPs are enzymes that are supposed to help your body clean up damaged tissue. But as you get older, or after an injury, or when your joints are low on key nutrients, these enzymes begin to go rogue. They multiply out of control. And they don't just clean up damage anymore. They start attacking healthy cartilage, breaking down the proteins that give it structure and give it its balance. It's like termites in a wooden house. One minute, everything seems fine, and the next minute, the whole foundation is falling apart from the inside. And the scariest part about this is that you don't feel it at first. It starts slow, a little stiffness in the morning, a pop or a crunch when you're going upstairs, a dull ache that's in your knees after you've been sitting for too long. But then it starts to get worse, and suddenly it's hard to bend down or to kneel down or to walk without wincing. So you stop doing the things that you love to do, gardening and hiking and walking your dog, not because you want to stop, but because you just can't do it. And eventually your doctor shrugs his shoulders and says, that's just how it goes. But what if that wasn't true? What if the real problem isn't just wear and tear, but something that's far more sinister than that no one's even told you about? What if your joints are being eaten from the inside out by something that your body is making and you've been told to just live with it? I call this process cartilage rot, and it is what happens when your joints are missing key nutrients. And these enzymes, these MMPs, they begin breaking down healthy tissue instead of repairing it. You're not going to hear about this in the average clinic, but in the research, it is clear. Studies have shown that these enzymes are overexpressed in joints that are affected by chronic inflammation. And once that rot sets in, you are on a fast track to bone-on-bone grinding, chronic pain, and in many cases, surgery, unless you do something to stop it. Now, I'm gonna tell you the bad news right now. There is no amount of yoga or adjustments or physical therapy that's gonna shut this down. And injections and pain meds, steroids, even off-the-shelf supplements, those might dull the pain temporarily, but they do nothing to stop the rot. In fact, some of those treatments actually accelerate it. One thing that accelerates it for sure is something like surgery, which is one reason why so many doctors are now starting to advise against joint surgeries. And I'm going to show you proof of this in just a minute. And if you're someone who's thinking about a surgery of any kind, you're going to want to stick around for that part. So if you've been trying to fix your joints and nothing has worked, this is not your fault. You were just working on the wrong problem. But I have good news for you, because a few years ago, I stumbled onto something that changed everything that we thought we knew about joint repair. And it's natural, it's safe, and it's shockingly effective. And best of all, it's a godsend for shutting down those overactive MMP enzymes that are chewing through the cartilage in your joints. And it comes from one of the most unexpected sources that you can imagine. And no, it is not a vitamin, it is not an herb, and it's definitely not a drug, but it works by feeding your joints what they've been missing all along. And once you do that, you don't just stop the rot, you actually reverse it. I have seen this happen in my own patients. Patients like Geraldine or Susan or Janie or any of the hundreds that I've helped solve exactly this problem. I've seen stiff, aching joints start to move freely again. I've seen grandparents chasing after their grandkids even after they've been told that they'd never run again. And in just a moment, I'm gonna show you exactly how this works. I'll also show you why surgery is not the answer to this problem and why the advice of changing your diet and exercising more isn't bad advice, but it may not be the best solution for this particular problem. Now first, let me properly introduce myself. My name is Dr. Josh Levitt. I'm a board certified naturopathic physician. I'm the founder of Up Wellness. And for the last 20 years, I've run one of the most well-respected natural medicine clinics in New England. I've treated thousands of patients suffering from chronic joint pain, many of whom have already been told, you just have to live with it. But here's the thing, I am not in this to slap Band-Aids on pain. I'm in this to get to the root of the problem and fix it. My clinic is built on science, not built on fads, and our results are built on helping real people in our community, not extracting huge profits from them. Now, everything I recommend is grounded in clinical data, human physiology, and real world outcomes that I have seen firsthand in the real people that I work with. And the one thing that I've seen over and over again, when patients are told that their cartilage is gone or it's beyond repair, it's usually not true. They're usually dealing with the exact same enzyme breakdown that we just saw in that demonstration, a process that I call cartilage rot. And once you understand how that rot starts, and more importantly, how to stop it, you can begin to regenerate that cartilage to move without pain and to get your life back. This is not a theory. This is not wishful thinking. It's what's happening right here in this clinic. It's what's happening in peer-reviewed research, and it's what I'm about to walk you through right now. So let's talk about what's really causing your joint pain and how you can finally put an end to it. Let me ask you something. What is going to happen when you stop fertilizing your garden or your plants? Dry, depleted soil, right? And then nothing is going to grow and everything's going to die, or at least it's going to struggle to survive. But that's not all that happens. And this is something that an avid gardener or green thumb is really going to know. The other thing that happens is that you begin to get pests. You start to get decay, you get rot. And believe it or not, that's got a lot in common with what's going on inside your joints, because the same thing is happening inside your joints right now. That stiff, aching pain in your knees or your hips, your back, or even your hands, it isn't just from getting older or from wear and tear. We all know plenty of old people with joints that are springy, just like a college kid. So what makes the difference? Well, the difference is the result of something I like to call cartilage rot. And once you understand what this really is and what's causing it, you will begin to understand how easy it is to start reversing it. You see, every healthy joint in your body has a soft, springy, spongy cushion called cartilage. And unless you've been living under a rock, you have heard of cartilage before. It's the shock absorber between your bones. And it's true that as you get older, or if you've been injured or stressed or inflamed, your cartilage stops getting the nutrients that it needs. But plenty of people can recover from those things. And like I said, there's plenty of people that are older than you and older than me who have perfectly great joints. So what gives? The difference maker is that joint rot that I'm talking about. Now, I'm not just talking about degeneration. I'm talking about a full-on biochemical infestation that's inside your joints. And I know that sounds scary, right? Well, it is, but stick with me because there is a light at the end of this tunnel. Just like garden soil starts attracting fungus and pests when it's not properly fertilized, your cartilage starts breaking down due to an overproduction of an enzyme called MMP, which is just short for matrix metalloproteinases. You can see why we abbreviate them and call them MMPs. You can think of these enzymes, they're like cartilage composters. They're supposed to break down damaged cartilage to make way for fresh, new tissue. But the problem is when your joints stop getting the nutrients they need, these enzymes kind of go haywire. They start multiplying uncontrollably. And instead of breaking down the old stuff, they start chewing through healthy cartilage like army worms in a field. They attack the proteoglycans, the molecules that act like the glue and the bounce in your cartilage matrix. And what's worse is that these cartilage-eating enzymes are triggered by stress, by toxins, by advancing age, and yes, by damage. So if you've ever had a knee injury or a knee surgery or a knee problem of any kind, this was likely to be a triggering event. And surgery is a trauma itself. Sure, it is a controlled one, but it cuts through skin, through muscle, through fascia, and often through bone itself. And that kind of physical assault sets off a cascade of inflammation, of stress hormones, and of immune activation. It also depletes critical nutrients like zinc and selenium, vitamin C, and protein, all of which are needed for tissue repair and recovery. So when these MMPs aren't shut off, they cause this cascading breakdown to happen inside of your joints. So the cushioning between your bones gets thinner and thinner. Your joints get drier and drier, and before you know it, your knees are like a dusty old dried up garden. Except instead of dry dirt, you've got dry joints, grinding bone on bone. But you don't feel this happening right at first. It starts slowly, a little stiffness in the morning, a little popping or creaking when you take the stairs, a little soreness maybe in your back or in your knees if you sit for too long, until one day you realize that it's just not going away and that rot has really taken hold. And we see this same problem in plants. A tomato vine that looks fine one day begins to wither, not from the top, but from the roots below. The soil is depleted, the plant is defenseless, and a fungus called root rot sets in. That's what your cartilage is dealing with, except this is cartilage rot, and it's the real reason why your joints feel inflamed and stiff and dry and sore. And the solution isn't just more stretching or more turmeric or even surgery. In fact, as you've just learned, surgery can sometimes be a major trigger. So no, instead, the solution is to treat your joints just like a gardener treats depleted soil. And that brings us to the second half of this puzzle. If your cartilage is rotting away, the answer is not to cut it out or to inject it. The answer is to revive it. And I know you've probably been told that once your cartilage begins breaking down, there's just no way to bring it back. And that used to be the conventional wisdom. But what I'm about to show you will blow that myth out of the water, because I've seen it dozens of times in my own patients who listened to this next part really carefully. Just like a gardener revives a wilted plant by feeding the soil with powerful nutrients, we can revive cartilage with what I call joint fertilizer. And this is not just any fertilizer. I'm talking about one of the most potent natural sources of joint healing nutrition that we have ever found. eggshell membrane. And yes, I mean the eggs that you and I eat every morning for breakfast. And no, I do not mean that you should go and start munching on the shells. But here is where it gets fascinating. So gardeners have known this eggshell secret for decades. In fact, crushed eggshells are a common compost fertilizer to help improve the health of the soil and help plants grow stronger and faster and more vibrant. Now, why is this? Well, it's because eggshells contain a perfect combination of minerals and other nutrients that nourish the growth of plants, including calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and even collagen. But to be honest with you, a lot of people know that eggshells have these nutrients in them. The real magic goes even deeper than that, because inside the eggshell itself is this thin membrane. You can think about the last time that you cracked an egg open. You probably remember there's a paper thin membrane that sort of sits on the inside of the eggshell itself. And what most people don't realize is that that membrane is made of an incredible mix of joint restoring compounds. Things like type 2 collagen, glucosamine, chondroitin, hyaluronic acid, and over 400, yes, 400 different types of proteins. Now, this combination in eggshell membrane is one of nature's most potent building blocks. It's the same biological blueprint that birds use to grow beaks and bones and connective tissue inside that egg. And now, multiple human studies have shown that supplementing with eggshell membrane can reduce joint pain, improve flexibility, and even restore lost cartilage. There was a study that was published in Clinical Interventions in Aging journal that found that patients taking eggshell membrane saw a significant reduction in joint stiffness and in pain in just 7 to 10 days after starting it. Another study, a double-blind trial published in a premier orthopedic journal, concluded that eggshell membrane improved joint function in patients with advanced degeneration and even showed continued improvement in those people after 30 and then again at 60 days out. That's because these nutrients don't just relieve pain. They feed your joints. And when your joints get fed, just like plants do in a nutrient-rich soil, they can begin to regenerate. The collagen helps to restore that soft, elastic cushion in between your bones. The hyaluronic acid hydrates your joints like water filling up a dry sponge. The glucosamine and the chondroitin, they help to rebuild cartilage and protect it from enzymatic attack. So it's not just about masking the symptoms, it's about replenishing the joint ecosystem so that your cartilage can grow strong and grow springy once again. Just like a dead looking garden springs back to life when the right nutrients are added back into the soil. Now, the moment I started seeing what eggshell membrane could do in the joints of my patients, I knew that I was on to something big. I mean, finally, we had a way to nourish the joint from the inside naturally instead of just numbing the pain from the outside. But there was a problem, because as exciting as this discovery was, there was no really good way for my patients to actually get substantial amounts of eggshell membrane into their diet. Not without cracking and peeling dozens of organic, pasture-raised, very expensive eggs every single day. And then most of the time, most of that membrane gets lost or destroyed during the cooking or preparation process, or it gets stuck onto the inside of the shell. You've probably seen it there when you've tried to crack and peel an egg yourself. And even if they did manage to collect it themselves, that membrane would have to be freeze-dried, preserved, and then clinically dosed in just the right amount to really make a difference. Now, I know what you might be thinking here. Why not just go to the store and grab a joint supplement that has eggshell membrane in it? Trust me, I thought of that too. And listen, you can do that, but I would not recommend it. I've reviewed dozens of products. I've broken down the labels. I've called companies. I've asked the tough questions. I've purchased kilograms of raw materials and had them tested. And I've tried all sorts of different combinations on my very own patients. The off-the-shelf formulas, they just don't work. The doses aren't right, the ingredients are low quality, the prices are insane. It's all just smoke and mirrors out there. So I decided if I couldn't find a product that delivered clinical grade eggshell membrane in the way that my patients needed it, then I was gonna make one myself. And that is exactly what I did. I'm fortunate that my team at Up Wellness was able to secure the highest quality form of eggshell membrane that's available. It's prepared using a gentle water-based extraction method to keep the nutrients in it intact, and then it's paired with a blend of complementary ingredients to support absorption and cartilage regrowth and repair. It took months of research, formulation, back and forth with our labs to get this formula exactly right, but the result was well worth it because it led to the creation of a powerful natural formula that delivers everything your joints need to stop that rot, to regrow the cartilage, and to move freely again. It's called Cartilage Revive Plus, and it is the only formula that I recommend that delivers clinical grade joint nutrients in the exact amounts that your body needs to rebuild that cartilage, to soothe the soreness, and to move with freedom again. At the heart of this formula is the star of the show, natural, pure eggshell membrane. We already talked about how this remarkable compound contains type 2 collagen, glucosamine, chondroitin, and hyaluronic acid in the exact ratios that nature intended. That's why I call it joint fertilizer, and it's the reason that this formula works so well. But I didn't stop there, because when you're rebuilding joints, you can't just feed them, you also have to protect them and hydrate them and shield them from further damage. So I added a few other powerful ingredients that supercharge Cartilage Revive Plus, each one carefully selected to complement the eggshell membrane and accelerate joint recovery from multiple different angles. The first one is something called D-glucosamine sulfate, KCl, and that is a mouthful, so I just call it the joint protector. And it's a special, highly absorbable form of glucosamine that really does something incredible. It helps to block the MMP enzymes that we talked about earlier, the ones that are responsible for the cartilage rot. There was a double-blind study published in The Lancet. Patients taking D-glucosamine sulfate saw a 20 to 25% reduction in joint space narrowing, and that means that it helped to stop the loss of cartilage. And compared to common OTC painkillers, glucosamine sulfate not only provided superior joint comfort, it did it without any side effects. This ingredient is like a joint bodyguard, and it shields your cartilage from the decay while it promotes smoother movement at the same time. Next, I added something that you might have heard of before. It's called type 2 chicken collagen complex. Now, most people don't know this, but there are many different types of collagen. Some of them are great for hair, some of them for skin, but one is just perfect for cartilage. Your joint cartilage is made of a very specific type of collagen, type 2 collagen. And that's why we source this compound from chicken bones, which is one of the richest natural sources of undenatured type 2 collagen. And there was a recent 24-week clinical trial that showed that participants taking type 2 collagen had a 33% improvement in joint function, a 40% reduction in pain compared to the placebo group. And here is what's really great, is that this form of collagen doesn't just patch up your joints, it helps to retrain your immune system to stop attacking cartilage, reducing inflammation at the very source. Now, I could have stopped there, and I thought about stopping, but I wanted to make sure that this formula went all the way. So I also included MSM, which stands for methyl sulfonyl methane, and that is a great flexibility enhancer. MSM is a sulfur-rich compound. It's found in lots of different plants and fruits and in vegetables. But what makes it so special for joints? Well, sulfur is essential for the production of collagen and other connective tissues in and around joints. Without it, your body simply cannot rebuild. And second, MSM acts as a synergistic amplifier that helps the other ingredients like the glucosamine and the collagen work even better. And now, there was a randomized clinical trial. Participants taking MSM experienced a 58% reduction in joint pain, and they increased their walking ability and distance in just 12 weeks. MSM also helps to reduce oxidative stress, to ease stiffness, and improve joint range of motion. Now, vitamin D3 and a small dose of vitamin C. So low vitamin D levels are directly linked to higher rates of joint pain, especially in older adults, because vitamin D plays a key role in helping your body modulate inflammation, regulate immune responses, and support healthy cartilage regeneration and repair. Vitamin D also helps to move calcium into the bones and joints, and that supports the structural integrity of your entire skeletal system. Now, while a tiny bit of vitamin C might not sound like a big deal, it actually serves two purposes in this formula. And the first one is super boring, which is that it helps the powder in the formula not stick together or get clumpy. Lots of companies use all sorts of weird chemicals for that purpose, but I find that vitamin C works just great for that. And the bonus is that if you want to build new collagen, you absolutely need vitamin C. It acts like a biological Velcro that holds the strands of collagen together. Without enough vitamin C, your body literally can't form the collagen matrix that keeps cartilage soft and strong and springy. Now you put all of that together and you get a complete multi-action joint formula that feeds, protects, and rebuilds your joints in doses that are clinically effective, in combinations that are designed to synergize, and in a formula that's trusted by me and by my patients because it works. And that's why I can confidently say that Cartilage Revive Plus is the best joint support formula anywhere. So if you've been struggling to get out of bed without groaning, if stairs feel like you're walking up Mount Everest, if you're worried that gardening or walking or playing with your grandkids might leave you hurting for days, then Cartilage Revive Plus was made for you. I made it for you. Now, because we use premium ingredients and manufacture in small clinic quality batches, Cartilage Revive Plus is not the cheapest joint supplement on the market, and it's honestly not meant to be. This is a formula that's designed for results, not for shelf appeal. And despite that, I'm proud to say you can try Cartilage Revive Plus today for just $59.95 per bottle. Now that's less than a single copay at a physical therapy clinic for lots of people. Even better, if you choose the 3-month bundle, you'll pay just $49.95 per bottle, and you'll save even more because it comes with free shipping. For those of you who are truly serious about rebuilding your joints from the inside out for the long term, the 6-month supply is just $39.95 per bottle. Now that's just $1.33 per day to wake up pain-free, stay active, and reclaim your independence. And every order is backed by our 60-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. Try it for 2 months. If you don't feel your joints moving easier, if you don't feel that pain starting to melt away, if you're not waking up in the morning feeling stronger and more mobile, send it back. Empty bottle and all. You'll get every penny back. That's my promise to you. And I hate to sound dramatic, but this is something that I often say to my patients. You've got one decision and two very different futures in front of you. Right now, you're standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to more of the same, more stiffness, more groaning, more missed activities, more doctor's appointments, more discussions with your spouse about whether surgery is the right option or not. The other path leads to freedom, to waking up and stepping out of bed without grabbing that nightstand, to walking down the stairs with confidence without fear, to playing with those grandkids, gardening on a Saturday, or going for a hike on the weekend and feeling like your old self again. No more feeling old, no more feeling like your best days are behind you, no more watching life go by from the sidelines. That's what Cartilage Revive Plus is here to give you. And you don't have to wait weeks or months to feel this. Many of my patients start noticing a difference within the first 7 to 10 days. That creaking gets quieter, the stiffness fades, the soreness that used to last all day, it's just gone. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, those first few days can be pretty magical, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna work overnight. You've gotta keep taking it until that cartilage really starts to come back. And when that happens, something incredible occurs. You start to believe in your body again. So click that button below, choose the bundle that's right for you, and give your joints the help that they've been waiting for. Because the only thing worse than joint pain is regret. And today, you've got a chance to leave both of those behind you.
Scan now to get this exclusive offer.